Welcome to the Soul Growth Build in Public podcast. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Stacey Gonzalez, one of the co-founders of our Build in Public podcast. And for the first time tonight, I am here with my co-founder, Renee Devore. Say hello, Renee.
Hello, everyone.
So tonight we are going to talk about the highs and the lows of being founders of a startup. And I'm going to share my high of today and my low from today. And then I'm going to pass this over to Renee for her to share what was her high and her low. And I think for me, the high today was for the past 2 days, Renee has been coming to my home. We live very close in proximity to each other. And before I even totally get into that, let me back up for a second and thank you and welcome you to the podcast. I was so excited about the day that I forgot to welcome my listeners. So thank you for being here today. But back to what I was sharing, Renee and I live very close to each other. And the best part of that is we get to work together in person. And while that is lovely and amazing, sometimes it's also difficult and causes me to be face to face with some of the difficulties of the work that we are standing up right now. And so today we were working on building out some backwards design, some curriculum for some work that we're doing. And it just was really challenging. And while Renee and I were working, I could feel on the inside how I was starting to get a little stressed out about it. And I wanted to be very open. I was hoping that I could listen to what she was having to say, kind of take her ideas, put them into structure, help us get to an end outcome. And through the course of trying to figure out how to engage with one another around this work, we just had this moment where, what did you say to me when I said, I'm done now? What did I say? How did that happen?
You just said I'm done. And I was like, well, that didn't feel good.
Yeah, I said, I'm done. And she said, well, that didn't feel good. And then what happened? Do you remember?
Now, kind of went on and just we were trying to navigate each other where we were in that particular time frame. Then you got emotional.
I did get emotional. It was a really hard conversation. And I think the hardest part was I was feeling we're going to get off up here. I was feeling super I was trying so hard to be flexible. And I was really wanting to allow your creativity to shine through. I wanted to be really open and I wanted to be really available to what your thoughts were. And so I was trying really hard to push aside what I was thinking and hone into what you were thinking. And then it just, I think I got overwhelmed at some point.
But I also think because you were not coming as you are, you were showing up differently in order to serve me.
Right.
Which I think that there's benefits to that, but I think it was almost overkill to the point where it confused things. You were working overtime to try and navigate the project that we were working on, and also, connect to whatever my needs were, how I operated. And so I think that that's part of how the overwhelm piece of this all came to be.
Yeah. And so what I realized when we kind of had this moment where Renee was like, yeah, that didn't feel great the way you just said that. Because I was like, I'm done now. And
we can laugh at it now. We were laughing at it.
We were laughing 5 hours ago. But I think what it really made me realize was that I can have a voice in the process as well. And I can also set boundaries around here's how I'm thinking something should look or feel. And I think it just wasn't doing that today greatly.
Well, I think the other thing that also showed up today was this fear that you
Abandonment fear.
Yeah, the fear that you carry forward into this relationship of thinking that it could end at any time. That if you take the wrong step or do the wrong thing or say the wrong thing, that I'm going to leave this partnership. And I think that was a really important breakthrough for both of us today, for me to hear that. And then you giving me examples of, like, when I say in 10 years, I want to be retired and living in Mexico, you're thinking that means
you're breaking up with me today.
Break up with you 10 years from now, today.
Yeah.
That just isn't the case. I think we both have been through, like, me getting into my first, engagement at the age of 47. Like, I worked really hard to get to that place, to be in this healthy, nurturing, loving relationship with my partner. And you've done the same with your Tim, coming around in your second marriage to him, which I think is important also, but we've had to work really hard to get there. And that should serve us in this relationship too. So we should learn what we've gained in creating those relationships with our partners, and how that connects with us here in our business partnership.
And so for tonight's Soul Growth Build in Public journey, we are inviting you to explore, what do you need as you think about your own partnerships, relationships? What do you need for yourself when it comes to being fulfilled in business and the work that you're doing? Because even when it's hard, I feel like for us, even when it's hard, like today was kind of hard on some levels, it was also really rewarding. It was also really fulfilling to know that we can have conflict, we can have challenge, but that does not mean we have to stay there. We can work through it. And that was kind of the big takeaway for me today.
We were able to show up. We had another meeting that we did this evening. Like, we ended that meeting she's talking about at 1:00 this afternoon. And we had another engagement at 5:00 that we had to come ready to be a part of, and to not be able to, like, carry that baggage from that conversation, that emotion that we had in that conversation, and carry that forward and be able to leave that behind, I think is super powerful as well.
So thank you for joining this Build in Public journey. If you are following us and you're listening to this podcast, we appreciate you, and we invite you to join with us on your own soul growth journey.